remember one day I woke up and everybody had gone. I was abandoned, a child without parent. I became a beggar. I became a street boy. I walked to the city of Nairobi to get a new life. I was so happy. I have a family, I have a car, I had a dream. I want to do business.
We formed Mullyways Agencies Limited. And then my dad had a monopoly in oil and gas.
It was my time. I was really tormented by these boys in the street. I saw faces of me, and I could not walk anymore. I cried, why is it that God wanted me to take me back again? I will never, ever work for money again.
That's called total madness. That's what it is.
Dad says that he needed to sell everything and start helping the poor in the society, the children who are abandoned.
How do you let go of what you hold dearly? And how do you decide when to share your love?
Kenya was burning. We can't let this happen. We have to do something.
The children did not have food. If we don't step in, children are going to die. We had 3 children, 4 children, and the number kept on growing.
He said, welcome, this is your family now. These are all your brothers and sisters.
That is a miracle.
We are one family. We are one Kenya. When I remember that, I see the impossible becoming possible.
And you
Myself.
Good morning and welcome to the program. The only way to start your day, we call it Good Morning Kenya. The version today being Entertainment Thursday, and I'm yours truly, Samuel NJOROGE. Entertainment is already in the air. That particular piece you've just seen minutes ago, seconds ago, is all about a story of a man who has dedicated 27 years of his life to championing for the rights of children. As they say, he could not get maybe all the appreciation back at home, but what you've just seen right there on your screen has won quite a number of accolades in the big stages related to entertainment. I'm talking about Hollywood. If you look at the production of that particular piece, it only tells you there's finesse, hard work, and a lot of smartness going into it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Dr. Charles Mully is with us in studio. How are you, sir?
Oh, very well, thank you.
Good to have you in studio.
Thank you.
And maybe you can start by telling us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm married with the 8 biological children and a man of 1 wife, Esther, and of course the father of over 16,000 children.
16,000.
Yes, 16,000.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's 16,008.
Yes.
Because you're already a father.
Yes.
Because you're already a father of 8. But before we get to your 27 years of championing for the rights of children.
Indeed, it is 29 because, you know, the movie,
2
by that time it
was 27.
Yes.
And now plus 2 more, it's 29.
Right,
So
correct.
before we get to the experiences and the story behind the 29 years, let's talk of who Charles was before. Who are you? From where? Doing what? Yeah.
Yeah, I am a child who by then time, long time ago, would not be loved or be tolerated in any way because I was a very, very poor child. My father was addicted too much on alcohol, and always he used to fight my mother and me and my little brother. And so that was my life, lack of food, as I found myself alone and without parent. And it was so hard for me to get into school to study. And it took a long, long time for me to struggle. But at the age of 16 years, that's when time came. And it was horrible that I wanted to commit suicide because of the problem that I really experienced. I never wanted to live anymore. But by God's grace, somebody met me when I was really stranded and that kind of life, and said, he saw me desperate with a pale face, and he invited me to go with him. It was on a Sunday. And then I found the young people jumping, with joy, full of joy. I couldn't understand what kind of joy. But the preacher came in, and they preached about the forgiveness of our sin and how Christ Jesus came to this world to give us redemption and salvation, and through the power of forgiveness. Then I remembered how bitter I was towards my own parents for the abandonment. But that was not the end. I raised my hand, I was prayed for, I became a Christian, and then I started a new life. And that led me also to Nairobi.
Charles, experience and your story will bear witness that it's not easy dealing with rejection, dealing with child abuse, dealing with a lot of violence in the environment. For those 16 years, how did Charles deal with it?
Really, it was really so hard. But one of the things I found was the poor always ask to know right. Because when you go to, begging and asking people to help, then you have to be patient. You have to learn, to depend on somebody. But during that time, I did not know about God until when my life changed. And therefore, it was a life of frustration, rejection. Yeah, that's the kind of life that I lived. And,
turning point coming forth at the age of 16 years.
Yeah.
After that, post 16 years of Dr. Charles Mully, how was the quality of your life influenced from that experience?
The quality of life was very poor because at the age of 16, I had not gone to a high school, and there were always, it was an element of, thinking, what about tomorrow? Worry from time to time, and I could see young people going to school, those who were my age mate, and they had gone to high school, they are almost in Form 3, and here I am, and they're struggling. And therefore, I was just praying now to God, God, show me what to do. It was really very tough time for me during that time.
Right. By this time, you were completing high school?
No, how could I go to high school?
You dropped out of school?
Yes, at the age of 16 years, some of the young people are almost in Form 3, getting to finish. But by then, I had only completed 8th grade, and that was all.
So did you ever get back to education at any one point in your life?
Yes, I did, because when I started working, then I found myself, the only thing which was better for me is to improve my education through British Tutorial College. Those days there were no online, learning like programs, nowadays. Things has been improved, but it was that you write to British Tutorial College, and of course I was able to take up a course on management, accounting, and that also helped me to sharpen my English language and so forth. And so I also learned through correspondence about Bible, Bible and theology. And because also I want to know more about God and be able to be used by Him in any way.
Earlier on, you elaborated how your relationship with your father was, courtesy of the activities that were happening, steered, of course, by alcohol. But then again, Dr. Charles, how was the relationship between you and your mother, you and your younger brother?
Let's say when I was young, the relationship was good. However, experiencing this kind of life, it was very tough, and it made me to become bitter about the past life. And one of the things, when I got to know the Lord as my personal Savior, and then I started working in Nairobi as a gardener, as a house helper. It struck me and took me all the way to have that kind of love and to forgive my own father and also my mother for what they did to me. And that really forgiveness, that power of forgiveness, it did miracles, because later, of course, I went to look for them where they were, and we were able to reunite. And I was free, and they were also free, and I started helping them when I was in job, and helped also my brothers. And we grew as a family up to even this moment.
Right.
My father, before he died, my father came to know the Lord. I led him to know Jesus, and he stopped drinking, and he became a great man. And I, of course, understand my father was a great man. It was only that he was left by his mother when he was only 1 month old, because the mother died as soon as she bore him. And that, I came to discover later, that made him to become Kisirani, you know, a young person who grew without love, and that came again to us.
Right. A beneficiary of British tutorials, and that must have led you to a particular area of expertise. So who did what did Dr. Mully become after the education process?
Yes, after the education process, I became, professional on business management, as well as also accounting. And I also became to know about the Bible, which I loved so much. And I was, elected in the church as the chairman of a big church in Eldoret, where I started, and again went on to become the chairman of about 42 churches, and there I was a leader. And so that one also helped me to become a knowledgeable person, a leader.
Right.
Yeah, in the communities.
So you are trained in business management. At what point did your story connect with film and documentaries?
Yes. Well, let me go back a little bit.
Okay.
I was born in Kangundo, and when I got to know the Lord, the following year, I started my journey walking to the city of Nairobi to look for a job. I had no any experience by then, at the age of almost 17 years old. And then I was knocking everywhere in Nairobi, all the way to Keresha, and I knocked in one place, and then an Asian lady opened the gate, and then I was there. I explained my problem. She gave me a job, and this kind of job was only washing dishes and the cloth things and the outside cutting grass and the weeding, flowers, and that's how I was. But I was very happy because I was able to get food and accommodation and a little salary. I moved on to the to be appointed, and the man who employed me was a CEO of a big company in Makuyu called Kakuzi Limited. Yes. So I was taken there, and I started my employment. I became the field clerk, and then was promoted to assistant manager. And later, I joined another company known as Strobach Bau AG, German company of construction. I worked there. I was able to buy a good second-hand car. After sometimes I resigned. I started doing business.
Yes.
Driving matatu. Those were the first time in 1971, 71, 72. Matatus were coming up by then. And then I bought a Peugeot car, and that later it multiplied. I bought a bus, long, 62, passengers, and my company grew with several buses. And then I joined a distribution of oil and gas and tires, Michelin and Firestone tires. And then I got insurance and real estate, so I became a wealth man. And through that, one day, I happened to go to the city of Nairobi.
Okay.
And I was going there for business. There was the TLB of one of my bus was expiring. Okay. And so I went there at Nyayo House. Nyayo House building was quite new, 1986 April. And there I found street boys, And these street boys, surrounded me, confronted me. They said, you have parked the vehicle here, and therefore we need money. I looked at them. I said, why should I give you money? Then out of that, I went up that floor of Nyayo House, came back only to find that my car was not there. It disappeared.
Was gone.
I had the keys, but nothing like a car. And so I reported the matter to the Central Police here, not far from here.
Yes.
And they told me once the vehicle will be found, we'll not hesitate to report it back to you. We'll give it back to you. Up to this now, I've never heard about that vehicle.
They're still looking for it. Maybe.
Well, I really, 1986 is a long time.
You never know. You never know.
Maybe a miracle. Yes.
Yes. So, dedicating 29 years of your life, Dr. Charles, to championing for the rights of children, begs the question, why? What's the inspiration behind it?
Having lost that vehicle for 3 years from 1986 to 1989, November 17th, I had no really peace at all in my heart. And so I became sick, and I was wondering what is happening. And then I got into my car, and I started moving all the way to my house, which was only 5 minutes drive, and then took my car, got lost, got the way to Tarabu, Uganda Road, and then I stopped the vehicle because I got lost. I did not go to my house, and therefore I started crying in the car, and it is in the movie, of course. Cried and cried, and then I said, God, tell me what you want. But the Spirit of God was telling me, it is you. I found you. I helped you. I saved you. I brought you up to where you are. And all what you have belong to me. That is God himself. And then always repeatedly. And for 3 years, and then now this time now moment, 4 hours in the car, I said to God, yes, tell me what you want. And I yielded to him. And I said, God, I'll give it to you. He wanted myself, my heart, my spirit, my mind, my energy. And again, the family, the money, and everything. So I hearkened to his voice. When I said yes, I got the greatest joy in my heart. And then drove back to my house. The following day, I started going to the street of Eldoret, because that's the place where I started. And then I started this ministry, 1989, and picking the poor, the street children who were addicted to drugs, prostitute everywhere, at night, in the day, and so forth.
16,008 children later, what can you say has been the journey? How can you describe it?
Well, always when I remember, because there were two, at the age of 40 years, I gave up. I gave everything to the Lord. 40 years, I was 40 years by then. And when I look back, I see the greatest achievement ever in one's life. Because there's nothing, even if I continue to work and accumulate wealth, money, there is no end. I've never heard about any person, any billionaire or whoever, or millionaire who says, Tosha, it's enough. It's always you need more and more until you die. And so mine, God really made it. And I am really the very happiest man, even with all the troubles, with the children that we bring. Some of them, they run back to the street. You have to bring back. There is about education, because we have, education. And all these things, being able to meet their need in terms of food, it's a big challenge.
How have you been able to cope with that? With the challenges, of course, providing for them, making sure that they never lack, making sure that you at least influence positively the quality of their lives. The challenges that come with that kind of a situation, how has Dr. Charles Mully been able to deal with them?
Yes, one of the things that drives, the driving force, is about love. And then the second one is about the forgiveness and understanding them. It's number 3, about humility. Once you are so humble, even to those kids and the bigger, not only kids, but also I have those who are 24, 25 years and above, but be able to communicate them with the love, being able to forgive them, being able also to, to mentor them, counsel them, pray for them, and lead them the best way. They come to love you, to trust you more than any other person. But all these challenges, of course, like how much money do you need to feed all these children? At least now we have 3,256 those who are now we are caring, because
Under
the rest
care.
have gone. All
The
of
rest
them, they
have gone.
are grown up, they are working, they are doctors, as are the business people, business women, and so forth. So this is really a big challenge, but the joy of bringing a child, when you love that child, when you love those young people, girls and boys, is the greatest, as you see them growing. Yeah.
Just let me ask you a random question, Dr. Charles. Do you remember all the 16,000 of them? Do you keep up with the faces and who they were or they are right now?
Really, all the children.
Yes.
In fact, one of the biggest achievement is when you have a good memory to remember all of them and you call them by their name.
Their names.
They feel so good. And even myself. But of late, almost now 3-5 years now, some of them, they are, I know physically, of course, they left early, long time ago, but I struggle again to get the names of a few. But normally, I know them.
Yes.
Yes, and they interact with them as
Awesome.
well.
And you keep in touch?
And we keep in
And
touch.
you
They
keep in
come and
touch.
visit us, and even some they come to give a free hand, as volunteers. And one of the things also I did not mention is about the sustainability that we have at Mully Children Family. And this has held up in providing food, cereals as well as vegetables. And then we sell these also to the city of Nairobi, to in Machakos. And that one has helped us to earn, sustain the program. We export French bean to Europe, in Germany, in Netherlands as well. And after that, we have been able to employ, because we are not only supporting the children, we have programs in our communities. And in the communities, we provide clean, free water for the whole of our community in a place known as Ndalani in Yatta sub-county. And also build schools, not only for the Mully children where the opens and the former street children they live, but also in our communities are built schools, and these schools, secondary schools, as well as primary schools. And we employ all the teachers, pay them salaries, feed the children, because we give them enough food for lunch to enable them and motivate them to go to school. Because in Yatta area, it's semi-arid, very dry. So we use irrigation, and out of this irrigation, we are able to produce the vegetables produce throughout the year from January to December. Then the other thing is about healthcare. Healthcare we have a clinic or dispensary. We give free medical care, and then to the community, to our children. And again, then we have social workers who go to the village. They talk about hygienic, about birth control, and how women, they can also be able to visit our clinic and visit others for help, to be advised and so forth. We have also climate change initiative. Climate change, we plant trees. We have planted over 5.8 trees in our own property, and more than 10 million across Yatta sub-county, where we have involved people and young people in schools, about 200 schools, and motivate them to plant trees.
Right. This story is amazing. It is amazing. And no wonder it caught the eye of Hollywood producers. That documentary we saw, at the beginning of this interview, titled Mully, right?
Yeah.
Let me begin by asking why, not why, but at what point did they approach you to do a documentary on you?
I have several books, about 5 different books, and one of it is called Father to the Fatherless. This book was written about me by an author who comes from Canada, Winnipeg. He came in the year 2003 as a teacher, you know, as a volunteer for 3 months, and he was teaching physics as well as biology and mathematics. And so he asked me if he could write the story about me, about my life. And through that, then, the book came out to limelight, that in Canada, in the USA, it became one of the very best book people read about, you know, values, and it has got a lot of market in not only, even in Germany, and it is translated in Chinese, in Germany, and in Spanish as well as in Swahili. But this book somebody read in the USA, and he connected with me. And then I happened to fly to Georgia, and then I met him, and he asked me, I read this book, and it's so precious, but can you allow me to take this story further on another level? Because I would like people really to get what I read in a different form. And therefore, I said, okay, I'm going to help. What do you think? I said, oh, yes. Please, you can do that, but don't ask me money to support that. But he said he had enough money to be able to get the right people. And they called, you know, people from Los Angeles, Hollywood, and they organized with them about 6 people. They came all the way, they flew to Kenya, and then they started working on it. And until last year in November, when the movie was launched in Los Angeles, California, and it was a big thing for 3 days, 800 theaters in the United States of America and 500 theaters in Canada. They were able to watch it, this movie, Mully movie, on 3rd, 4th, and 5th of October 2017. And that one brought something new. And it has won over 13 awards because of its nature. I don't know why, but it's about the story about me when I was a little child, when I grew, and a lot of what I've been able to achieve and do, not only to the children that I bring together and nurture them, educate them, empower them, especially women who have been so much abused in the street and everywhere. I bring them together in Yata. And in Yata, we have a vocational training. We have also a college there for diploma level where we teach business skills, entrepreneurship, about accounting, about climate change initiative, and I've been able to construct dams of water. And these dams, we pump water from those dams and do irrigation throughout the year. And so these people from Hollywood did a great job. And now on 26th of this month, January, the launching of the Mully movie at Nairobi, in University of Nairobi, the Nairobi Towers. It is a University of Nairobi Towers.
Yes.
26 from 5 o'clock to all the way to 9 o'clock. This movie, 81 minutes, is going to be screened and premiered for the first time in Africa and also in Kenya. And it is my joy to invite people to be able to see it, because the pillars of this movie is about love, it's about faith, it is about humility, it is about the power of forgiveness. And that is what we need, in fact, in this country everywhere. We need peace, we need understanding one another, and we need to move together to make a great nation, Kenya.
Earlier on, Dr. Charles, you said that as it was being screened across 800 theaters in the US and Canada, you didn't understand why, but I'll tell you why. It's called the hand of God. The power of letting go and letting God, and what you've been able to do so far. We're really humbled. Congratulations. And I'm proud to be associated with you. Quite literally, I've known you for what? 38 minutes or so. And, and your story is really inspiring, so heart-touching. And a message to all of y'all watching us at home that, you know what? Things happen when they happen, how God wills them to happen. So how about we all let go and let God to intervene in our lives and get to inspire others through wonderful stories like Charles Mully's right here. And you've said it has won 13 accolades.
Yes.
13 of them.
13 of them.
Your story. You know, when you look back at the 29 years that you've dedicated to child mentorship, child support, and you look at the 13 accolades, 800 theaters and more to come, people coming from all over the world because they're interested in your story, your experience. What does that do to Charles Mully, the person? What does that make you feel? How do you process that?
Well, having seen so many people across the globe, from America, Canada, Germany, Australia, so many different countries, and also in Africa, like Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe, Ethiopia, and Uganda and Tanzania. I feel really praising the Lord, our God, because no man can be able to do all this, what I've seen happening, and what has been achieved over these 29 years. And so mine always, I thank God. I am somebody who always goes with a lot of gratitude to our Creator God. And I've also learned more through that. When I see, people coming, people keep on coming. They are looking for Charles Mully and the Mully Children's Family, where my own wife, Esther, and my biological children, they are really supporting me in prayer and also get engaged. I feel so much honored and by God, and I see the power of forgiving. If I never forgave my father, my mother, that would have been something else. And again, the power of forgiving. When you forgive, like anything that happens in your family, as you know, family, Mully Children Family, not Mully Children Home, it is the first institution which is so powerful to the entire world, in our country, everywhere. But I feel like so much honored, and I thank God so much for having enabled me to have this. If I never gave it, also the wealth and the money that I had, and my own time that I've been running here and there over all those years, non-stop, I don't feel that things would be the same again. But I thank Him, God. I thank also all the people who have been praying for me, those who have been supporting the ministry. I have been also able to support many people by providing a feeding program in Turkana. We have also our branches in Turkana, in Lodwar, where we have over 800 children that we feed, educate. We have a school, a build, and the water. It's the center of all my wishes that I do. Mombasa, Vipingo. We have another one in Kitale. We have in Tanzania, in Dar es Salaam, in Mwanza. And all these places we support and ensure that the children cannot lack education, food, like I did myself.
Whoa. And out of the 13 accolades, any enlisted as a Grammy, an Oscar, any one of them?
For this time now, almost over the 1 month since late November, this Mully movie has been on the line of being nominated to Oscar Award And all the way from 1,300, 900, dropped to 400, came to 18. I left it about 2 weeks when it was number 18. We're still going. But I do not know whether it will win, but one of the things is that it has been moving
Exactly.
to that level.
And recognized
They
too.
recognize as well.
And recognized
And as
Dr.
well as an
Charles.
African, because when even the people from the West, when they look at me and my people, they feel like, wow, Africa, we have been giving and giving, supporting. It's like there is no hope. People are fighting, people are grabbing. They want to have more and more and more. But this man, they say, this man,
Yes.
he would be our president in the United States of America. They say big words. Indeed, I've been also at Washington and in White House, and I've seen God doing things, and that is not something like what I'm waiting in heaven. That that inspired me so much to really to work so hard,
Right.
because I know there is a big reward which
Exactly.
we shall be given by our Father God one day.
You know, Sophie, I'm coming to you in a bit, and the one thing that I love about your story is that it is laced with a lot of humility and a lot of godliness to it, and we wish you all the best. From 1,300 down to 18, and the process is still ongoing. As far as the Oscars are concerned, we wish you are in our prayers, and we wish you all the best. A Kenyan story by, Kenyan story of a Kenyan, influencing positively the quality of life of Kenyans. We can only say God bless you abundantly. But we're not yet done. We are not yet done. Safina, I'm coming to you right about and now. Good morning, and how are you doing? How's the smart board reacting to the kind of discussion we are having on this set this morning?
All right, guys are inspired. A lot of feedback coming in, congratulating Charles Mully for his work and looking forward to that particular movie. And just to look at some of them that we have here already updating one, saying quite a touching story there. I love the name from Scars to Stars. And then we have one Yvonne Hadi at NJOROGE at Safin.
Safin, I'm told that there's a little problem with your sound levels. They'll be checked in a bit, and we shall be crossing over to you. But thank you so much so far for that. Dr. Charles, giving you an opportunity to have a final word. And for this, look straight into this camera and address Kenyans. Tell them what is in your heart, and also make a call for the screening of this movie on the 26th, right here at the University of Nairobi Towers.
Well, my fellow countrymen and all and everybody, especially the poor people and some of the people who feel that they are no longer worthy, there is room, there is time for you, and God has got great plans for your life. And if he came to me when I was that, kind of very poor and even without hope, reaching to a time to give up my life by committing my life. And now here I am. So many young people have gone through, and they have been saved. They know the Lord as their personal Savior, and they are empowered, doing their own business as well as also working. I want to give you this hope, that there is hope in yourself. Work hard with the determination. Be patient for tomorrow. And whatever you have and you hold, and even if it's not money, you have nothing, get to understand it is possible. In God, all things are possible. Come on 16th, on 26th of this month, January, to the screening and the launching of the Mully movie. And mullymovie.com is really real. And it is about the life that God has given me in challenging, helping, mentoring young people, as well as the communities in Dalani, in Yatta sub-county. Be the one to be prepared. Let us build our country, Kenya. Don't ask what the government, or don't ask what other people or NGOs are doing, but ask yourself, what is that in a small way that you can do?
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm really, really honored. I got to come close to you, shake your hand, and wish you all the best. I will be with you on the 26th. I will definitely show up.
Most welcome, please.
Wouldn't
most
miss
welcome.
It. Wouldn't miss it. Thank you all for watching the show this morning. Remember, it's the only way to start your day. Good morning, Kenya. This is Entertainment Thursday. Besides the hype, the feel good, and everything that comes along with entertainment, inspiration is one of them. And an inspired lot we are by your overwhelming love, support, and feedback on Twitter. Coril Lenny says, most welcome and thank you to the long-lasting TV station. Asante Sana. Big up to Lenny Lesir for your activity on Twitter. I can also see one here, Dr. Cheesy Seth Newton. Asante Sana on Twitter. Fina Laura, you're saying the show is hosted by Sami Wan and Safin Acheng, hashtag Good Morning Kenya. I'll just take but a few courtesy of time. Leon Maxwell, you're saying, at what time I'm missing the show? It begins it began at 6 a.m., but you're not yet late. We are on all the way till 9 a.m. Mbakasi Finest, asante sana for tuning in into the show. Looking forward to Jatello's affair that's beginning at around 8:15. Sami Wan, NJOROGE, and Vikmas Luo Dollar. Philippo Kakamega, you're saying you're watching from Kakamega. Director Keen, thank you so much. And Ruth Ondiso, last but definitely not least, you say a great and touching story. It is from Charles Mully. You're feeling so inspired. God bless you all abundantly. We're taking a short break, leaving you in the company of Mully's movie, just the trailer that will be screened. A trailer of the movie that will be screened right here on the 26th of January at the University of Nairobi Towers. And later after that will be Safina Cheng with a lady who's calling herself the only Rose. Why Rose? Why not Lily or Hibiscus? She'll tell us. Thank you so much.
I remember one day I woke up and everybody had gone. I was abandoned, a child without parent. I became a beggar. I became a street boy. I walked to the city of Nairobi to get a new life. I was so happy. I have a family, I have a car, I had a dream. I want to do business.
We formed Mullyways Agencies Limited. And then my dad had a monopoly in oil and gas.
It was my time. I was really tormented by these boys in the street. I saw faces of me and I could not walk anymore. I cried, why is it that God wants me to take me back again? I will never, ever work for money again.
That's called total madness. That's what it is.
Dad says that he needed to sell everything and start helping the poor in the society, the children who are abandoned.
How do you let go of what you hold dearly? And how do you decide when to share your love?
Kenya was burning. We can't let this happen. We have to do something.
The children did not have food. If we don't step in, children are going to die. We had 3 children, 4 children, and the number kept on growing.
He said, welcome, this is your family now. These are all your brothers and sisters.
That is a miracle.
We are one family. We are one Kenya. When I remember that, I see the impossible becoming possible.